Marja West here, and I have my good friend Derek Bartolaccelli here joining me, and he is going to share with us some of his wisdom, words of wisdom regarding the relationship between man and woman in modern times. So we thought we would just kind of wing it and kind of be in the sort of feminine flow and not be so masculine directed, but we're going to see how it goes. So how are you, Derek? Nice to have you.
Such a pleasure and honor to be here, Maria. Thank you so much. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Yeah, it's quite an Italian name I have, but yeah, I actually lived in France for a dozen years, nowhere else. You did live in Italy.
I've had an interesting relationship with France and Europa, and it was my intention to be there after my move out of California to New Mexico in 2015. I was supposed to be there, and then COVID just fucked everything up. So it's like, oh well, but in the time that the COVID happened, I met someone and fell in love. So it's what happened? What happened? So things were actually, I think, very well orchestrated, because had I gotten my way in a professional sense, I wouldn't be here. And I probably wouldn't be doing this. I mean, who knows? Who knows what would happen? So it's all kismet. So it's all good.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're happy.
I'm happy, and I'm challenged. So, one of the things that happens between me and my guy is we are two very similar people, where we have similar woundings regarding our respective mates and relationship patterns. And we also have avoidant bonding style. So you have two avoidants trying to be intimate and in a loving, committed partnership, and it's just like I mean, there's no books about it, I don't think. I probably have to write it,
Yeah, I'm not even familiar with that term. But,
So there's attachment style when you're a baby. So there's avoid. It has a lot to do with neglect and abuse, whether covert or overt. And then there is the anxious, which is a lot of abandonment issues. I don't have that so much, because I'm the one that was always leaving, breaking up with people. But I do have this, I don't like drama. So when drama starts happening, I've been accused of being more man-like, where I check out. I check out and I just go, you know what? Fuck this. But it's not sustainable, especially when you are a woman, you want to open to love, and you want to explore that feminine longing of partnership. And, I don't have that much time left. But when you're in your 60s, it's like, oh, shit. You kind of have to decide and be committed,
Yeah, totally. And it definitely has to go both ways. And do you find that the fact that you guys are quite similar and you have the same triggers, is that even more challenging? Because, sometimes it's hard for us to recognize our own triggers as well. Even though
I actually think it's a lot easier. I think it's a lot easier, actually, because we were in the car the other day, and it was funny because I was getting impatient. He was getting impatient. And I was when I get impatient about driving and about traffic, I have a tendency to, I use it as a trigger to wake myself up, because I realize I'm getting immersed in, the outer screen of the matrix, and I'm that acerbic commentary about people driving and on and on. So it's funny. We're on our way home. And I say jokingly, I go, oh my God, that dude in the red car was working my last fucking nerve. And he starts laughing. He goes, oh my God, we think so much alike. And it's a little disturbing, but I think what's good about it is that number one, we can't get away with too much.
Keeping
So
yourself in check,
there's no game plan. You don't get to play any games because he calls me out, I'll call him out. But that's really intense, and those tricky conversations are not happening. And so the whole thing with avoidance is that we need our space. So I'm very good being a hermit. You know, I'm very good because I'm an introvert. Even though I have a lot of stuff out in public, I'm an introvert. So it's easy for me to, I'm going home, and I turn off the phone, I turn off technology. So I go AWOL that way. And that's our default, is that we will hit kind of a challenging patch. And we haven't quite figured out how to navigate that in order for us to kind of stay. He's much better at it. I'm not. I will admit it. I'll admit it. And my default is to work.
Right on, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great that you're willing to do that and you're not lying to yourself.
Yeah, but it's not, I see that it's not going to be sustainable, because in order to grow, we have to meet those challenges. We have to break down the proverbial wall and stay and really kind of work out the sort of concrete little go-tos. Otherwise, I think the relationship would probably stagnate to a point of, kind of the status quo.
For sure, yeah. And
I don't think we want to do that.
Yeah. And there's so many ways we can go about these things. And I feel like, in my past relationship, I tried to keep things fresh, and like there's, for any kind of problem in life and consciousness, there's a solution, right? So it's all about people not being lazy in a sense.
Yeah. And so how did you go about that? I mean, were you the one that was like bringing that up?
Yeah, it was more like self-aware, because at least my ex-wife, she wasn't like on the same like spiritual level, if you will, and this and that, not all about doing the inner work and all that good stuff. But it's all about finding different approaches. I mean, people could, you mentioned when the heat of the moment and you just gotta leave the room or this and that, because tempers might flare or whatever, or you want to avoid saying something that you don't want to say or might regret, all that good stuff. But I thought for me it was always about just getting that moment down and doing some breath work to calm down or whatever, and just use that energy in ways to think about why it's making me feel that way and what can we do to remedy the situation and how.
Wow.
There's just so many ways, and like that's just the whole alchemical process of transmutation of energy.
Wow. How did that land for your wife doing that? Was that
pretty
unusual?
Good. No, it was pretty often. I mean, like any kind of relationship, there's going to be conflicts, no matter how harmonized it is, right?
Right.
And ours was really beautiful. She was such a sweet lady, a soft, sweet Tahitian flower, as I like to say. She's from Polynesia and everything, and just like over there, it's just a different mentality, and it's just like she was much more zen with a nice, calm voice, and she just like really mild mannered in a sense. And so that just her being that kind of a example helped me, even though I had some major fucking ego issues and stuff. It was actually because of her and my awakened heart from the love, cultivated from our relationship. It was really just the first relationship I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Like 24 years old. That activated my wanting to do better and making me look in the mirror 1,000 times and realizing like, yo, we cannot be doing this. I made my wife cry, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Her being like oversensitive in a sense, or maybe just me raising my voice, which I know we can talk about this later on, but I've noticed as well, like with a lot of females, there's like this intimidation and fear factor behind when a man raises his voice, I think. And I think it stems a lot from the generational past and, trauma of that in a sense, and just father, grandfather type of thing, The old patriarchal, crusty mentality.
Yes.
Ego.
I mean, my generation, the men in my generation are, it's a split. You're either very absent or you're very forthright. And so the middle of the road, I just felt like was occupied by a lot of stoners.
Ha!
There we go. A lot of stoners. And so, so my generation, how old are you? I'm sorry, I don't even know how old you are.
Oh yeah, it's all good. I'm pushing 40. I'll be 39.
Okay. Okay. So I'm old enough to be your mama. So and so that having been said, the generation, like, do you feel like with your parents that they modeled for you a well enough relationship that really cultivated respect, mutual respect?
To a good degree, yes, but I noticed these were the things I had to purge out of my life like over a decade ago.
Okay, let's hear that. I'm very curious about that.
It's like these, the ego impulses, especially tied to the negative emotions of frustration, anger, and that kind of stuff. And I could almost like literally feel his energy projected out through me.
Whoa.
It's like, it's not something that, I just learned on my own, Derek, in the wild type of thing, it's actually just being conditioned in a household, and that brings to mind.
Do you think it was through osmosis, just growing up in that environment?
Yeah, I guess. And, at the same time, there's a lot of things that, and I didn't care for that a lot of times when he would kind of raise his voice to my mom. A lot of times it was just uncalled for, but when you're young, naive, whatever and stuff, but you're just like, it's like messing with the vibe, or like,
wow, noisy. And where did you feel that? Did you feel that in a specific area of your body that you were conscious of?
Mostly the heart.
Wow.
I had a lot of heart blockages growing up. I mean, for the longest time I was like incredibly curious and lovelorn about women. I wanted to know all about them, and specifically like what kind of makes them tick and this and that, just because it's the whole women from Venus, men from Mars type of thing. And just the different aspects of the archetypal consciousness of divine feminine, as opposed to the masculine. And I grew up really that hopeless romantic type, and not really finding someone that I was super attracted to, at least, who was available at the time.
Yeah.
And then, that blocked me from just like expressing myself much more. And it even affected my performance. I played at a very high level of soccer, for example, and this and that fucked that up. And it's just like, I lost my virginity when I was 19 years old, by the way.
Cool.
And I lost it to a woman who wanted me to mess around with her friends as well, but then turn around and get mad at me. And what she did was, I moved into a new house, and I opened the back door to the back, and she was out there on her knees, down on some guy.
In front of you?
Yeah, like just
on
a property for no reason. They're like the neighbors. I don't know why they were there.
Was this in California?
Yeah.
Was this in Marin County?
Santa Rosa. I went to Santa Rosa.
Okay, because when I was married to husband number one, like, the whole open marriage thing of the 1970s, like we were married in 1978, and the whole thing was free love, free sex. And we got invited to a party that was nearby. This was in Mill Valley. There's a fucking trapeze hanging from like the fourth floor, and everybody's in a pile. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Damn.
I was not having it. It was very upsetting, but that was that was kind of like the notion. And I know, California, Marin, Sonoma County, all of that, it's like free love, very quote unquote sex positive, pop tantra. I mean, I can't take it. I can't take it.
Hey,
And I
is in
come from a
Bohemian
very
Grove, right?
traditional, I'm not traditional, I'm more old fashioned, but my studies of Tantra are very authentic. They're not westernized. Here in pop Tantra it's all about sex. Whereas real Tantra, sex is just one facet of the totality of living and navigating the human experience of day to day, the mundane, the cosmic, all of it. And here it's just, it's a free for all.
Jeez, wow.
So what was that like for you? What was that like for you? Did that just blow you away?
I was, just heartbroken, even though I didn't have a whole lot of feelings for her, I guess. Because we just hooked up at a party, and we hooked up for a little bit more afterwards. But because I never was a fan of those the one night stands. It's like, hey, if it was good, why not do it again? What if people running from like the burden to, I got to sit down and talk to this person now and whatever. But I even today, all the heartbreak that I've felt, I'm still that curious boy that has that patience and compassion for all those female counterparts out there. Even though I'm feel just like taking a knee right now, I wouldn't say I'm repulsed by a lot of women these days, but it's kind of leaning towards that anyways.
I believe it. There are a lot of very angry, very upset, very over masculinized women that are acting like men. And I don't call that empowerment. I call that an imbalance and actually an embodiment of the unconscious masculine within. Now, whether that was because there was a slew of unconscious sexual partners, relationships, whatever, I know that for myself, having gone through like 2 rounds of very extensive celibacy, where I chose, I was done. I was repulsed. It's like, don't fucking touch me. Don't touch me. I don't want to be in your space. I don't want to be saturated by somebody's energy. And one of the first things that happened, and I hear this a lot with men and women that I don't know if it happened to you, but I know for me, I went through a short period of promiscuity, or in my terms. Okay. I hear so much more, and I'm just like, I try not to judge, and I'm just like going, that can't be possible. I don't get it. But that being said, for myself, it was a little much. And I remember having this poignant moment where I started having dreams that had nothing to do with my life. Because of, just
the consciousness you absorb from the other men.
Yes, absolutely. And I started absorbing anxiety, these bodily insecurities, this weird rage. Like I remember this rage. And it's like, whoa, that is not I don't even relate to that. And just the sort of unsteadiness within the own fiber of my being. And I hear that men experience that as well. So I think there's a transference in sexual relationships that are not based on consciousness and loving intention.
Because one of the things we're going to talk about is the difference between sex and making love.
Yes.
And I love how they say it in French, it's like such a romantic language. Don't you miss it? On peut faire l'amour sur les étoiles, et c'est génial. And just je t'aime, ma belle, ma chérie. The terms of endearment just sound a little bland in English, but keep it spicy, whatever. But
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, you know, in Finnish, rakastan sinua, that's I love you. Rakastan sinua. Rakani is like sweetheart, you know, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
seems, I like that. I like that. Or in German, ich liebe dich. You know, I'm just like, what?
Ooh.
It could be romantic, but it sounds a little harsh to me, you know. But so like that whole thing of I mean, taking a break, I think, and I was always one that took a break in between relationships. You know, I would call myself a serial monogamous, so I'm not a casual person, you know. But I will take at least a year or two in between relationships, just to energetically, emotionally, mentally get my shit together,
Yeah, and just
or
cleanse
purged, so that I can be available, because you know, I am so empathic, and the transference of energy exchange, whether it's sexual or whether whatever, a projection.
Yeah,
And
and what
it
about
needs to be dealt with.
have you heard about astral rape?
I have.
When people fantasize about another person,
Yes.
and it becomes a chronic thing, even sometimes. Like,
yeah, and it's visceral. You can feel it. So I was a professional dancer once upon a time, and so in the performance, in fact, one of my first classes that I taught in energy mastery was how a performance artist can actually set up their energy field, and then after the performance, clear out their energy field of any kind of psychic, sexual, psychosexual projections from the audience.
Was it anything to do with like drawing a circle of the magician?
Perhaps.
Or psychic defense techniques from what is his name, Diane Fiore or something like that?
Oh, Deanne.
Yeah.
Yes. Certainly applicable, but because the projections, they're energetic, they're based on thoughts. And I remember, you know, even as a little girl ballet dancer, and I was just like so cute and so innocent, and I just remember coming off of the stage and thinking, I don't know what's on me, but I don't like it, you know.
Jeez.
And so I always had this just sort of in just this feeling of ick.
Wow. I mean, that alone could be traumatic. And
yes,
I mean, that blew my mind for me, just like thinking of that and quantifying it on the macrocosmic scale. How many young women have been subjected to so many unconscious, perverted projections?
And then we're trained that not only is it acceptable, it's something that we want to cultivate in lieu of our own esteem. So we look at other esteem to have that attention. You know, the Instagram is just like, oh my God. You know, it's kind of frightening.
It is, yeah, and it's being perpetuated in like
early on. I mean, the whole the dance industry, the music industry, the movie industry, all of it. It just cultivates that sort of voyeuristic expectation and entitlement, really.
Yeah, and how much programming is going on with Hollywood or Bollywood or any kind of production of media in, like, you know, go to the princess programming, the jock athlete, you know, programming, the guy, so many other things. And yeah, like you said, like this self-entitlement nowadays. Oh, wow.
So what was your childhood like in terms of, you know, and I'm relating your upbringing and your various levels of awareness, from like when you were a baby to toddler to a child to prepubescent boy, etc. What were the influences of, say, media, magazines, Hollywood television?
Yeah, well, let's see. I watched the first time I ever had an ejaculation, I was scared as shit. I didn't know what was happening.
Oh, of course.
I was in Germany actually, and they had like porn on regular cable TV at the time or something like.
Just Germans, man.
Being
Tell ya.
subjected to that so young or whatever. Like, okay, yeah, a little over exciting, but
Yeah.
But yeah, then you get more curious as to that, and you obviously know that there's Playboy, and if someone's father, you know, has that around, you know, you're getting more curious and this and that, and you know, actually, I guess I don't know. I was born in '83. I really don't identify
Mhm.
as a millennial.
So you were part of the sort of MTV generation that
Yeah,
that came up.
we were subjected to some shit, yo. But how worse is it today? But anyways,
Yeah, I think it's much more out in the open, and just I think it's crazy now. I mean, I would not want to be raising young children at this time.
I know, yeah. So going back real quick, because like yeah, getting into porn, and you know, I didn't really fall into this whole, at least, you know, as much as the average guy, as far as like this whole objectifying women and, you know, using degrading language to refer to them as, or the body parts, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty empathic myself growing up. I remember, geez, I was like 5 years old at a birthday party. I was big little league pee-wee baseball player trying to show off, and I like swung and missed, and the bat flew out of my hands and it hit this little girl. And I thought I broke her face or something like that. I ran up and I was like crying in my bed for like an hour or something like that. Just because yeah, just like seeing that, hearing her, and like it's like I could feel her pain, you know. But yeah. I don't have a whole lot of memories of my, you know, growing up.
Yeah. Well, what about the influence of, say, your mom?
Yeah.
Like her expression as woman?
It wasn't there all the way, because the household, I don't know, it didn't have that holistic balance of, you know, just free expression, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it was definitely there. My dad taught me and showed me ways to treat women right, with the old chivalry stuff. And
all right, chivalry is not dead.
No, but I think men could do even better than him too, though.
Well, and that's the thing. That's what I've noticed. You know, just in general, is that the men that I'm witnessing around my environment, they're not gentlemen. They don't open the door. They don't give a shit.
Damn.
They have no manners. And, you know, and it makes me think, did your mama let you get away with this? Like, I don't get it. My stepkids would never act that way.
Yeah. And do you get this whole MGTOW vibe out there also?
Yes. So I actually have a good male friend whom I've known him since high school, and he was a bit of kind of one of those pushy, very uber masculinized, kind of jockey kind of guys, and so he really tried to toe the line of being the good masculine, showing up for the wife and the kids, being a good provider, taking good care of himself. And his wife, now mind you, I never liked this woman. I never liked her ever. I always thought, wow, dude, you've got a princessa here. It's more of a countessa, you know, because she just didn't want to lift a finger. And so at one point, he actually got very ill, and she had to like step up. And anyways, it all went south. But long story short, he was the one that asked me, do you know about this? Because I'm joining up. And, you know, I'm like sick of this entitlement shit with you bitches. And he was joking when he said that, but he wasn't joking, because he was a guy that really took on not just the role, but he was very conscious about it. Like, he was taking parenting classes. She wouldn't go, but he was doing all this stuff.
Damn.
And like reading all the books.
Huh.
And so, you know, and being part of my generation, I mean, we were clueless about anything. So it's like we get it from Dr. Spock or from, you know, Good Housekeeping, whatever. And then you have to filter out all of the, you know, incessant unconscious role playing that doesn't really lead to any kind of true intimacy, I don't think, because it all becomes kind of rote. And I think he just got angry about it. And so I think the whole MGTOW thing is really a lot of men trying to find themselves, finding their own definition of life that has nothing to do with any role, but has to do with the cultivation of themselves, their levels of awareness and consciousness. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not a man, and I'm only basing that on, you know, what people have shared, what men have shared with me, what my friends shared with me, or what I've read. What's your take on it?
I think I think there's a lot of male projection from this. There's a good amount of validity, but all right, are we going to continue the perpetual war on sex, people? I mean, like continually talking shit about the other sex behind
them. Divide and conquer.
You know, it's like, yeah, you might have been fucked over, and we could, you know, expose, you know, the negative actions that females do, and we can recognize these patterns and showcase them in a way that people can properly learn, not, you know, just, you know, get it on your podcast and ranting and talking shit.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, it's not. That's still part of the divide and conquer. And that is, in my opinion, one of the ways that the powers that want to be, one of the ways that the Matrix keeps everyone distracted and enslaved is the war between the sexes, the war between men and women, the war about fucking pronouns.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know, I was banned from a talk. I was banned from a talk in Toronto about 5 years ago because I wouldn't sign this piece of paper that had me acknowledge, I think it was pages long, like 94 pronouns. I'd never heard of such a thing. Wow. It freaked me out. And I'm not signing this. Huh. It's called a hate crime if you don't address properly. And I was just freaked out. I'm like, I don't want any drama.
Yeah. Wow,
yeah. You know, so I didn't get to speak. Everybody else signed it.
Damn, you were probably turned off to even speak there anyways.
Yeah, I won't because I'm not gonna cultivate. I don't want to cultivate that. I don't want to support that. You know, let's just level the playing field and just understand that regardless of your gender, you have masculine energy and feminine energy, doing energy and being energy. Balance your suffering with pleasure. I mean, it's simple, you know, and anything that creates some kind of divide, get the fuck away from it. We have to integrate, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah, well, people are still healing. They haven't figured out, you know, all their triggers, I think, as well. I think there's a lot of residual resentments between a lot of people and, you know, their heartbreaks in the past or fucked over or whatever.
Yeah. Are you seeing that like with your male friends and colleagues, people you know? Like what is the consensus of what you I know I want to know what's your consensus of, like, say, your peers
as far as what again, sorry?
As far as, you know, relationships and the challenges.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of friends that open up a whole lot to me. Coworkers, they don't really want to get in too deep into such things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, I don't know if you heard this from a lot of guys anyways, but I mean, this just might be my personal thing, but I don't know, I feel more comfortable like talking about these things with women, not guys.
Yeah.
And this is
I
something
I believe that.
and I think one thing that is lacking with a lot of women who are in relationships, right, is that they lack some of that divine feminine energy that cultivates that safe space for their partner
Yes.
to really be vulnerable,
Yes.
let any kind of emotion out, and not be, have that judgmental approach or vibe or anything like that,
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. In fact, my guy has like told me that there's this place that he can be with me where it's a place to open and to like really share and be vulnerable, because at the end of the day, that's kind of like what it is.
No.
And it doesn't matter whether the relationship is straight, bi, gay, transgender, because there's a masculine essence and a feminine essence regardless of gender. And those interactions and the sort of ways that we come together, in even just a basic conversation about needs, about setting boundaries, where needs requested, wants and needs requested, boundaries requested, are not an affront or threat or a demand or something that like connotes some kind of entitlement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And in regards to boundaries, I think a lot of people rushing into relationships, what kind of boundaries are established throughout the duration of the initial stages of that, relationship? And what do people just, over time get accustomed to and conditioned to? And so what are boundaries anyways,
Yeah.
Is it what one person is willing to accept from the other? Or is it something else?
That's a good question. What's your take on boundaries?
Yeah, this has been a hot topic.
It is a hot
With some
topic.
women I've spoken with over the past couple of years, and just like those hermetic principles, they got to be kind of immutable. If you're gonna establish something, and they break, it's gonna just mess up the foundation for the future encounters that could result in the same abuse, and that's how the cycle continues, type of thing.
Right.
But what kind of communication is going on between the couple? How are they really being honest with themselves? As much as the other person? Do they actually truly know themselves? Are they really in touch with their the mind, body, spirit, and are those really truly aligned properly?
No, those are very, very good points. And I think a lot of that gets waylaid. It's ignored or just not seen. I know that the person that I'm with now, we went slow. I mean, it was almost 10 years for me. And so it's like, I have to get to know you. I have to get to know who you are. Do I even enjoy having a meal with you? Because if I can't have a meal with you, we're kind of fucked. Because I like to eat. I like to cook. I mean, that is a whole, that's a whole array of earthly sensualities that are like required. We can't eat and run. We're not going to be in a hurry. And then also too, feeling into each other's, limits and edges. I mean, that can be, because I find with clients and students and just people that I know who are just, it's like, it's this static thing. I'm so frustrated. Where is he? Where is she? And it's like, you have to be good with yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, boundaries is really about, knowing what your values are, what's important to you, what's your morality, what are the things that are absolute deal breakers. It's a way to conserve your energy, to conserve your well-being, stay centered in your sovereignty, and not be sort of hijacked by another person's reality. And I'm finding that there's way too many people get way too exclusive way too fast.
Yeah.
Way too fast. They're already walking down the aisle after a week, or after texting for like 3 days. It's like, what is wrong with you? Stop it. You don't even know if this person is real.
Yeah, because when you fall in love or whatever, right? Last woman said it even better. Why not rise in love?
I like that.
What are we falling into?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a trap. Exactly. No.
Yeah. No, fall in love, be loved, but yeah, rise to love. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, but no, like the initial, Dr. Bruce Lipton calls it, the honeymoon stage of the relationship.
Yes.
And yeah, it's when we're a lot more airy-fairy and not as grounded as,
yes.
Like, oh, we're bubbling up in the lovey-dovey vibes.
That's very true.
So yeah, obviously we're not necessarily thinking completely rationally or clear-headed.
Right. And then there are the hormone cocktails. I mean, once you start bonding, and especially when it becomes sexual, and if it becomes sexual prematurely and you haven't vetted the person and they haven't vetted you, and there's a parting of the ways. I mean, this is why it's so painful, because you get bombarded with love hormones.
Yeah.
I mean, all of that oxytocin, holy moly, feel good, and then that is obliterated. And so we're not so much obliterated really by the person, we're obliterated by the chemical cocktails that we were partaking in without having vetted the person properly, and they were not right for us from the very beginning. So I always tell my survivors who are in the process of really up-leveling their lives and starting to get in relationships, you have to take your time. And this exclusivity trap, it gets men and women into big trouble, especially if you become sexual too early in the relationship, or don't have the same values, the same morality, the same sort of world view, universal view, in the spiritual context. I think that's really, really important. And people are just, they're too mesmerized by the physical appearance. And I'll tell you, for me, I've had men and women project all the weird stuff because I have that Eurasian look. They have a type. It's creepy.
Wow, really?
It's like, go away. It's just, it's not even about me. It's just because I have a general appearance that matches their, I think it's a form of mind control, actually.
Yeah, they're biased or they're ignorant, prejudice, whatever.
Yeah, and they haven't even examined it.
Real quick, I was looking for this. I had a couple of photos stored for our talk because, yeah, man, people are on hit and on point on Facebook recently.
Awesome.
Boundaries are not telling other people what they can and can't do. Boundaries are about telling people what you will and won't accept.
Cool.
And what does that come down to? What does that boil down to? Like, you know, or what is it stemming from? Someone's love for themselves and their self-respect.
Yes.
Right?
I think that's really key right there. If you don't love yourself, you can't love another person. If you can't accept yourself, how are you going to accept another person? If you can be intimate with your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own body, and you don't know your triggers, you don't know your edges, your limitations, and honor them, you know, because I think we're in this sort of the Matrix and New Age bullshit and all that kind of stuff. They talk about expand. No, sometimes I think that's just baloney. You know, sometimes it's not about expansion. It really is about going within.
Yeah, because I was listening to, I think you're talking with Brian Cirillo, and yeah, like you said, like that feminine energy, having that balance of going in and going out. Right? Yeah, that was brilliant how you said that. Yeah, thank you.
It's like every expansion has an equal and opposite contraction. And that expansion, or that, you know, just going all out, it's not sustainable. You will burn yourself out. I know this from personal experience. You know, and having been a woman, you know, the women in my generation, we bought that sort of mind control programming of being inner masculine, being on the go constantly. Oh, nice.
Is it moving? Oh no. It looks like this. Come on. Can you see that?
Sweet.
In and out?
Somewhat. Is it not doing it?
Sorry, yeah.
Wow.
On that. But so what's the deal?
I don't know.
Why?
We don't, you know, it's so funny because, you know, there are all these sort of couples, famous couples in the relationship land. And then you find out down the line that it was all bullshit. You know, they weren't even together, or they're in trouble because there's just way too much, I think, relationship fraud and fakery going on with the so-called relationship experts. You know, I am most definitely not a relationship expert. I'm not.
Yeah, likewise.
You know, but I show up.
Damn straight, yeah. And we live and learn, and you know, we really do a lot of inner work.
Yeah, just exactly. So the great work is that's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my part within my own self, and you know, sharing some things on my YouTube channel, which I didn't even think we mentioned, but
we should. You need to send me the links and all of that so we can share.
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, one of the reasons why I did it also is because talking about, you know, my upbringing a little bit, listening to a lot of bullshit rap that, you know, talks about, you know, like degradation of women and stuff, and calling bitches hoes and all that, you know, noise, garbage. Yeah, I had to purge a lot of music out of my life over the years, and
that's so good. Was that easy to do, or was it tricky?
It was easy after I had like a full-on like Kundalini awakening, just because like I had such an energetic explosion within me, and like connecting to more to source and my higher self and all that.
I want to hear this. Yeah, I want to hear this. When did this happen?
2012, baby. Because I was feeling that quickening within me. I gotta tell you, like, oh my God, ascension, the Mayan calendar, all that shit. And I literally was learning. At the base of that, I learned that from like watching Ancient Aliens, you know. And I like always coming up frustrated, like these guys are theorizing on stuff, and like they're going in some kind of feedback loop and whatever. There's a lot more to it than that. And yeah, I tried to, dove head first down the rabbit holes and all that, try to forget, what I learned, or try to pretend that I didn't know anything. Just keep the curiosity and open-mindedness all the way. Yeah, after a while, I did some heavy meditation, and after, reading about the Palladians and all this stuff, and I wanted to kind of feel into how this planet feels with all of us on it throughout its whole history and all that stuff. And yeah, that opened me up completely. I was weeping profusely, hyperventilating for like 15 to 20 minutes. But it was also like, reflecting back on my life and how much of a positive or negative contribution I've been here. And I realized, like, wow, it's like not much at all. Like, what the hell am I doing? I wanted to have kids with my wife. I wanted to learn about stuff. I wanted to teach them properly. I wanted them to listen to good music, eat good food, be healthy, and all this stuff. I wanted to be a better husband to my wife and all that, at the same time. So I was doing an alchemical process at the same time that I didn't even know the term. I didn't even know what natural law was, all this stuff, but I was on that trajectory. And yeah,
that is so good. I love it.
Yeah, but no, I literally, I would never have considered myself awake if I didn't feel like I literally got zapped by the fucking universe. Like, that's how strong it was. And ever since that day, I just felt like I have some kind of DNA activated, if you will, some more than just two.
How old were you? So you were like about 29, 20,
28, yeah.
28, 29.
Yeah, and like since then I've just felt like on the same kind of youthfulness spirit, if you will, and this and that, obviously refining the knowledge and all that good stuff. But yeah. And since that time I took it upon myself to like be my own DJ, and I put out all types of good, proper hip hop. That's all geared towards, like I made it like the soundtrack to my awakening. That was kind of like the first initial mixes and stuff. And my formula really involves a lot of balance of the feminine, masculine energies, and encompassing, a great deal of care into these things.
Beautiful.
And I had to like take out snippets and cuts of lyrics that were whack or unconscious, or not what I'm trying to do with this as well. And because even in France, I remember like, oh, you listen to rap or hip hop, isn't that? They have a different perspective on things, and they're not so enthralled in so much media miasma that Americans are in,
Yeah.
And so I had some great interactions with people over there, and made me realize, like, yeah, like. And I was into like breaking a shitload of stereotypes at the time. And I noticed that, rap and hip hop was getting a bad stereotype, like, oh, this is like anti-women stuff and this and that. I was like, let me flip the record and, I'll throw you on the conscious B-sides for you. How about that? And since then, I've been doing it for 10 years now. I put over 100 mixes, whatever. I call them truth-infused tapestries, if you will. But yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. I want to cry, actually. It's like you've been doing the work. You've been doing the work, and you've been like, this is not, because they're just, you're like the real deal.
Thanks, you too. Like,
the real deal. And and it's so rare, because the world, the matrix, it's not so safe for men to like really come out whole, to come out and be the dynamic masculine and the feminine, because it's not static. The feminine comes in and she moves out the masculine, and it's the same for women too. And it's like we get slammed, we just get dissed, and it's like there's no it has the space has to be, it's got to be quiet.
Yeah. Well said.
It's got to be still enough. And there's just way too much distraction, distortion, noise, as you were saying.
Yeah. I guess meditation could help, but then there's like these new agers out there that are so right brain imbalanced because they're over medicating on the meditation and all this stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, that doesn't work. You can out, into oblivion. But yeah. So the balance of that being and doing, balance the being and doing.
Yeah, I love it.
And sometimes we have to take action, and sometimes we got to be still. But even stillness, it's part of masculine expression. It's active stillness. It's not inertia, where or what is it? Just sort of being absent? No, active stillness is still conscious.
Totally.
Of what's going on.
Water,
it's
right?
still embodied awakening, the center screen, as I talk about. That's how we exit the matrix. We get into the center screen. We can observe this, and be present at the same time. And compose the reality with great intention and great awareness of what it is that we want to bring forth for the benefit of mutual benefit for everybody.
Boom. I'm in it for the win-win.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, let's create a win-win.
Just to add on to what you were saying, as far as, action versus inaction, there's so many positive things on both of those ends, and for example, fuck the system, right? Well, make actions towards, creating the independence from the system, and do the inactions of, not supporting it.
Yes.
Don't buy into it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Create
non-compliance.
Non-compliance.
Yeah.
Yeah, diverting your focus off of what I call the shitstones. Is it good to know them? Yes, it is, because by knowing what it is that you don't want to participate in, you're going to create stuff that you do want to participate in, and that's the focus right there. Focusing on that. It's so funny because a lot of the truthers will get very upset with me when I say that, and it's like, it's just because I'm old, man. I don't want to fight anymore. It didn't do me any good to fight, to be combative for a couple of decades of my life. I'm tired. And it works out much better just leaving that alone and focusing in on the universe that I want to cultivate and co-create.
Oh yeah.
With my brothers and sisters, and so I feel that happening, and I like it. I like my own little universe where I don't have drama. I just don't have drama. I have challenges because, the certain things that I want to do. I have to actually learn how to just apply that. Okay. Damn.
Yeah. I wanted to, the reason why I'm here and not in France anymore is because I left to be with, this woman that I loved and never even met ever, but we were so connected and aligned, and she's an empath. Me being not in France and her being in Canada, we were able to feel each other's energies. That's how strong our connection was. And we were talking about, she lives out in the mountains, in isolation areas kind of, and we're talking about building our own hobbit hole. That's
nice.
Living off the land as much as possible, that off-grid goodness. It doesn't mean we're turning our backs against the world. I don't know why people have this idea that folks,
it's not all or nothing. That attitude is so, I hear that, I'm like, right. Do you even know what infrastructures you need and what that's going to take? Do you have
I did a
any
video on that.
idea?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like La La Land to a lot of these people. It's just like magical thinking, and they're not gonna Google it, or they're not gonna research it and find out what's needed. Hell, they can't even plant anything. They're having DoorDash delivered to their front door. Of all the organic foods. That's like really cool. I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
no, do it yourself.
Right. Yeah. I love cooking.
Yeah.
And
what do you cook?
Going back to real quick, just
Yeah.
in a decent example of a male in a role being married, right? I was trying to keep the married life fresh, and my wife at the time was very thankful that, like, oh, tu fais les petites attentions, I paid attention to detail. I did things like, try to be on my best behavior when she's going through a menstrual cycle or something like that. I would go out to the store and get her anything she needed, tampons, all that good stuff. Didn't matter. She didn't like going shopping at all, so I ended up doing all the shopping anyways. We had our negotiations and just made things work. It was all good. And I cooked 99% of the time for her. For the 11 years we were together, 99% of the time. How many men can say that?
I don't know that many. Although my Christopher and I, we cook. He'll cook. We both cook. It's fun. It's sexy. Cool. It's like,
yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, anything about life, doing it with someone you love is awesome. I don't know why you have these, but you see it on the TV and people get programmed by the TV and all this crap. Like, oh, I gotta wash the dishes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it. Like, he is a dishwasher. I like washing them by hand. I have a dishwasher in my house. I don't use it. I wash by hand. There's something about it for me that's actually very sensual. I like it. I like it. So we're homebodies. In fact, when that time we went out, we look at each other. We actually got out of the house. It's funny. It's funny because at the end of the day, I think, we look at each other. Yeah, we could do that. No, it's better to stay home. We cook, and he's learning how to play the piano. I'm a musician, and so over the last 2 years, it's amazing to hear him play.
Oh, wow.
So he's learning a piano piece by this Italian artist Ludovica Einaudi, and it's beautiful, beautiful. And when we first got together, I remember he played that when we were first seeing each other, and I just remember this is beautiful. I got home, I heard it, and I started playing it. It's like I can do that, and so now he's learning it. It's beautiful. It's so magical. I mean, these are the beautiful, simple things in life, and they don't cost money.
Right? Yeah. Going out on walks and all that good stuff. Why does everyone have to say, like, oh, long walks on the beach? Really? Not everyone lives by the beach, and like.
Yeah, I don't want to get. I don't like the sand so much. Yeah, I like the mountains. I like motorcycle rides. So we're out on the motorcycle.
Damn, I'm
nice and fast. It's fun.
You want to know an interesting fact about me?
Yes.
Never cheated on anyone, even with that woman that I was with, and never met her before on a long distance. I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah. I've only had sex with not even 20 women in my life. Yet, for some reason, I've seen thousands of breasts.
Nice.
You want to know how?
How?
And it's not porn. Actually, I purged that shit out of my life a long time ago. For 6 years, I worked on the Mediterranean beach, and you know how they go in France, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So having that there all the time and not cheating on my wife, and she was gone a lot of times during the summer. visiting her folks in Tahiti or Corsica. She's half Corsican, by the way. I kept it legit, you know. And actually I was working so much outside that I was missing out on the real great work inside, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so we have a similar story. I cheated once and I got caught. I got caught as I was leaving, and the man that I was with at the time was laying on the hood of my Volkswagen convertible, and he points and he said, "I saw you." And the look on his face, I never wanted to do that to another human being again. I mean, it was just like, holy moly. And I was not in love with this person. And he was very, 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 very enamored. And I'd only been freshly divorced from number one, and it was a weird experience. It was just the level of regret, remorse, you know, and the sort of self-examination that you have to do. It's like, like, why did you do that? And then oddly enough, he admitted that he kind of pushed me in that direction. Because so the guy was a not my boyfriend, but the other guy was a piano player, and I used to do jazz torch songs, and I was sick of lugging a piano around. So he told me about this guy and said, you know, you and should really get together. I think it would be a great match, you know. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And anyways, whatever. It was not a good match either way. It was not a good match, but that kind of, you know, you just have that consciousness where this is wrong.
Yeah.
This is not cool. And this isn't you. So what's your problem? You know?
Yeah. Do you think the ego has ego issues?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, because it takes direction from everybody.
Yeah.
It's not even, it doesn't even know itself. It's like, what? It's just, you know. And so I think part of the great work is so funny because, you know, you're just kind of like dodging this onslaught of whether it's projections or whether it's, you know, distractions, disruptors, hijackers, you know. It's like part of, okay, I'm just going to say, stay centered, step away from the vehicle, move along, you know, nothing to see here. Just like sometimes you have to willfully ignore things.
Yeah.
And not let it affect you. So, I mean, this is how
about like toxic things.
Toxic things, like the news.
Yeah, they're just loosening out your energy.
Yeah, stuff about Sam Anointed. I can't do it. I when I get sucked in, like I feel my consciousness get sucked in to the outer screen, and I'm like, "Well, girl, what just happened? What just happened?" And it's obnoxious because it happens so fast. You know, and Facebook is one of the biggest ones. So I endeavor to just share funny stuff, post my stuff, and get the fuck out.
Yeah, real talk. Yeah, but you got guys like who, Justin Padini, who's a hella funny and shit.
I love him. He's so funny. I just fall down laughing. I fall down laughing, mostly. And he is absolutely delightful because he just fucking nails it.
Yeah, right. I wanted to go back to the whole cheating thing because listening to Manly P. Hall a couple years ago, I'm not going to butcher his quote, but you know, I kind of took what he said in regards to just like being an honest, decent person in life in general, with your relationship with yourself and relationship with other people. how is one's relationship with themselves anyways? Are they cheating on themselves? That just came to mind. But what happens when we lie to people, when we cheat on them? We're disrupting the magnetic connection, the energetic magnetic connection
Absolutely.
between people on an unconscious and subconscious level and a conscious level.
Yeah.
Whether they know
I think it's a
about it or
tear.
not, you know?
I think it's a tear.
Yeah.
It's a tear in the energy field between you two.
Mhm.
And I think it stays there.
Yeah.
And so I know with me and my guy, we have similar patterns in terms of our exes, liars, cheaters, the whole 9 yards. And I just remember, the whole thing of gaslighting, where something is wrong, something is off, and you're being told you're imagining things, or she gets some self-esteem and you're just too insecure, blah 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 blah, and that is horrible, because what it does is that it makes the discretions, the distortions, the wounding even bigger.
Boom. Totally. And that's what a narcissist loves to do. More energy to feed off of. The power burst. Give me that.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that. And I can tell you some things that you probably never heard in your life in regards to all this.
Okay.
Should I go? Okay.
Yeah. Go.
Where the hell does this energy come from? This narcissistic energy of needing to feed off another person's energy. It wasn't originally here because we weren't in a fallen time matrix like we are right now. We have to go back to the fall of Atlantis, and how we were cut off from source. We were all 12-strand DNA breatharian type of people, Magi Grail shaman stuff. I don't know if you followed Seth Exposa's work.
Yes.
Love that man. Yeah. Been meaning to hit up his initiation for a long time, but I'm in France, so I'm heartbroken. I got my own distractions, right?
Yeah.
But and this is something that I kind of have been tying together through, studying, cosmic history and all that. So we have these, the negative alien entities and all that stuff, and Anunnaki and whatever the hell, and all these false consciousness overlays, and even like codes of creation that they placed upon this planet for eons now. What that model is narcissistic in and of itself, because it needs energy outside of itself to continue fuel lining its system or operation or its being.
Yes.
So,
and that's how the matrix is fueled.
Yes, totally. And so, yeah, we're getting that from macro all the way down to the microcosmic. We're not supposed to be eating other life forms just to sustain our own life. We're supposed to have self-perpetuated energy within ourselves, connected to the higher force as well. But yeah, we don't have that. So I always try to keep things in mind to that degree, because it really helps cultivate and maintain a level of compassion for people, and even these fallen entities, and even these lower astral leeches.
They have every right to exist, just like we do. And that's a hard one. I've gotten death threats for saying that. Yeah. Because people are like hardcore, the good versus evil kind of polarity. And it's still divide and conquer still.
Mm-hmm. They don't realize we're non-dualistic beings or something. They can't see it from that, other non-linear perspective.
Yeah, it's just an impossibility. They won't. It's too, I think it's too threatening to their mindset, to their ego, perhaps. We call it ego death. Egoic annihilation.
Yeah, because honestly, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of people know what's going on, but a lot of people are still not even awake to themselves.
Yeah.
And that's really the problem. We have a lot of tourists in the truth movement.
Yes, we do.
Weekend warriors or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's the daily operation.
Think that because they now have discovered that government is slavery, that makes them awake. It's like, that scares the shit out of me. I swear. It's frightening to me. And I've had those kinds of people come at me where I have to monitor the comments. I can't even allow the comments on my, because I'll have some person just go off and go crazy. And I'm like, wowie, wowie, wowie. So ever since I put keywords, nothing gets through.
Right on. That's cool.
But I don't want to shut off the comments, I need some interaction in order to grow it, but still, it's just kind of you said it. What were you calling them? Weekend
warriors?
Weekend warriors, yeah.
Or there's the keyboard warriors, obviously.
The keyboard warriors.
Yeah. But I'm talking about people that just are not devoting their lives to this.
Yeah.
How free do people want to get? What are people willing to compromise?
Yeah. You have
sacrifice.
You got to sacrifice something, and it just seems like, and especially the way I see the whole emancipation of humanity from the matrix, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take us all to do it. And that means we can't just be spectators. We can't just be receivers of copious information and be indiscriminate about the information that comes in. We have to be discerning, and now we have to take the information, the knowledge, elevated up to wisdom, and then you have to disseminate it. You have to transmit it to your layer of the universe, to those people in your layer of the universe. And people just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. They don't want to make the people uncomfortable that are going to question them for, why are you posting that on Facebook, man, or whatever.
Yeah.
And we get that, a lot of us have been there before. But crowd participation, everyone, kind of thing. Just like, and it doesn't matter, like, people don't have to put out videos like this or write articles. They can just share videos around, share knowledge.
Yeah.
And also, if they're not going to be, and if they got money to spare, help support people that are making a living off of only this. They don't have another side job. This is what they're doing.
Yes.
By donations.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have a side job. I mean, my work is my work. It's all encompassing. It all just comes back. It all goes back to what it is I'm doing. And then once you've been at it for a long time, I keep thinking, what else could I do? I mean, my gigs as a musician, as a touring musician, and also as a dancer and a martial arts instructor. I mean, this has all been part of my whole evolution to be doing what I'm doing and what I have been doing.
Oh yeah.
It's not. It hasn't been random.
No.
We go through all these trainings, and what is it? You got to understand your environment, and you also have to understand how your attention, your consciousness, your creative energy gets hijacked, so that because the powers that want to be, they don't want you to be doing anything. They want you to be spectating and watching celebrities and taking your information from outside of yourself and not questioning reality whatsoever. And that, the reality that you see on media, that's it. And that's why I tell people, you have to travel, because that's not it.
Boom. Yeah.
Not it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of the planet that has no TV, has no internet, no distractions whatsoever, just nature.
Digital detox much?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, I put out a great actual video series to this, musical tapestry called like the Mass Media Miasma. It's like a 2 hour long thing. And I thought about that because I wrote about it a little bit in regards to thinking about what we're talking about today. Because how many times have you heard about it since like even the 70s? Like, oh, television is the #1 love killer type of thing. Well, maybe the 80s, but
Film
now,
and
what's the
TV.
real love killer? We got social media. We got everyone's got their slab on their hands and all that
Yeah,
stuff or
yeah,
whatever, and screens galore. Even the kids got them. But
yeah,
how many distractions do these couples need nowadays?
yeah. I
It's
mean,
like,
that's why they've created date night. I wrote it in my book. I put that in my book, and people were like going, wow, really? Yeah. And date night is perfectly acceptable. We use the term, but for me, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
or
It really is. I find it just, I roll my eyes. I'm like, wow,
yeah,
date night.
wow,
Because we got to schedule it in to the list of the many things that people have to do.
yeah. I
You
guess
know,
they're setting boundaries, right?
yes, setting boundaries. And they're doing it
Against
begrudgingly. Like it's another thing. Oh, date night. And I've seen people roll their
oh,
eyes. I've seen people roll their eyes. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with this picture here? What is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Why
you know
are
what it
you
is
even
also?
in a relationship if you're going to roll your eyes?
Wow.
Yeah,
People are getting the
I
dopamine
felt
hits in a
hurt by
different way.
that.
Sorry.
I felt very hurt by that. It's like, wow,
Mm. Yeah,
because
yeah,
people are
man.
too distracted. They don't want to, they don't want to take the time or make the time to be with the beloveds.
I'm shocked.
I got to write an email. Wow,
Wow.
that's important.
Damn.
I mean, I love snail mail. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I like cards. I like cards. I like
Mm.
letters. I still have people that I write cards and letters to. I love it.
Yeah. I had a letter I wrote for my sweet Canadian, but she wouldn't let me send it to her because she's kind of under surveillance in a sense, and her mail gets tampered with, that kind of stuff.
Oh my.
Sucks. But yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. You made me think of, yeah. So have we been conditioned so much and have such hormonal imbalance from like the incredible dopamine rush that people get on social media these days that, it's uh love is like second to that now or something like
I
that?
think that's actually quite valid. I think that's valid.
And it
Because
explains
people
the
want
symptoms
that
of, yeah.
instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
And I've lived a life of delayed gratification
Word, yeah.
where, and that's one of the perks of being neglected as a child is that,
Oh.
you just learn to go without, so I
Mm.
remember my first experience of a teacher asking me, well, what color do you want? And I almost had a nervous breakdown. Like no one had ever asked me
Ah,
what it was that they wanted ever. So,
wow. Oh.
it's a little disturbing. It's a little disturbing to have that. So I have that default where, I'm willing to delay gratification. I'm willing to sacrifice my own thing. And then when you
Mhm.
raise children, well, there it is right there. You do a
Ah,
lot of that. And when you're raising grown men, you do a lot of that too. So I was just kind of used to it, and I didn't begrudge it. Wasn't resentful of it. It was just automatic. But telling you,
wow. That was really interesting, and it made me connect another dot. But before I say that, communication, I think people don't always understand, like, communication is key. Everyone knows that, but they pay a lot of lip service to it, but they don't pay enough ear service to it. So what I noticed also in France is that people have a much better listening skills than Americans. And I feel like Americans are more inclined to listen for them to react to it as they are just to listen to it just for genuine curiosity to learn something and understand the other person's point of view.
I agree. I agree. And quite often, I think the reaction is very formulaic. It's a knee-jerk reaction that has nothing to do, quite often, as I've noticed, with the content of what they just heard. It's like we're gonna pick certain words and then create a meaning or come to a conclusion about it. It's like a headline, and you're not gonna read the full article, but you're gonna make a conclusion about what the article is about by the headline. That is like, that's insane to me.
That's childish, but yeah.
It's just beyond childish.
Speaking of children, what's up with babies having babies, by the way? And we wonder why the generation is the way it is right now.
Yeah.
And why there's dysfunctional families, and like going back to this new the self-gratification generation. They're having kids by now, aren't they?
Yes. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, these people don't fully know themselves. They get in love, they get all, whatever, they get pressure from society and their parents to have kids, if it's traditional, whatever. I saw that so much in the south of France, by the way.
Yeah.
Highly traditional, it's like, they were looking at me shocked. You've been married for 8 years and you don't have kids?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with you?
You're not following a script. You're not following the typical matrix script of all that. Mm-hmm. And you're actually paving your you're being self-directed in your life. And what is that? Most people don't even know what that is.
Yeah. But no, so people, and most people still don't even know themselves. They don't fully know their partner because their partner doesn't fully know themselves. And they're going to go raise a brand new human life.
Yikes. Yeah.
Maybe they'll let the media raise them and the public indoctrination systems tinker with that as well. And let's see where it goes. Why not? It's been an experiment for a long time.
Yeah.
Haven't been getting the best results, have we?
No. Yikes. It's frightening. It's really, really, really frightening. And when I was growing up, we didn't have all this sort of instant social media kind of stuff. I mean, I have seen stuff on social media or TikTok by young kids, and I am shocked. I'm thinking, where are their parents? Like, do their parents know what they're up to?
I know.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the material is very lewd and lascivious. It's like, whoa.
Oh God, yeah. A lot of slapdick humor, whatever the hell, and all this, attention to ego and looking at whatever.
Yeah.
Vanity.
Very much so. It's all about that. And
look how many face tattoos I have. Look how many holes are in my jeans. I'm cool. This is the fashion today, guys. Hey. And speaking of fashion, I written down, like, between couples, what kind of, because the whole male guy with the trophy wife, he likes to show her off and this and that, but at the same time he'll get upset and offended that guys are gawking at her type of thing.
Yeah, it's that double standard.
Yeah.
This is part of the second level of relationships that Brian and I were talking about, which is based on the relationship section of my book. And it's that role playing. So, and as long as you play the role, it's all good. It's all good. But then there is the sort of ego checks or unchecks, the jealousy and the control, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
and then it levels up to what I call the neo equality, where I washed the dishes last week. You get to wash the dishes this week. It's all this fucking weird tit for tat negotiation. And it's not about commitment. It's about, let's see how far we can negotiate. You did this for me, I'll do this for you, blah, 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 blah. And then, if it fucks up, we got a back door, we'll leave. We'll part ways. I mean, we have such a disposable society. And I know I have felt that way. I have felt disposed of, that, I could be replaced, and that is a weird place to be. And I remember the first time it came up, I thought, holy shit, man, I need to keep that bullshit in check because, but yet it really is a reflection of modern day relationships.
Yeah.
Where it's not about commitments because people don't know themselves and we're just trolling and we're just living for the moment and we're just, yikes. It's not my cup of tea. I don't relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was always in for the long haul.
I thought love was supposed to motivate someone to energize people, to make them want to do the right thing.
To do better, to become a better person, to love your very bestest that you've ever loved.
Right? Yeah. Wow. And then the blame game and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it stems back again, just, lack of proper knowledge of self, the inner work, keeping it balanced, not having true trust of yourself. And obviously you're not trusting the other person if you keep playing these little tick for tat, blame game things or whatever, right? Or you're jealous, right?
Yeah.
Insecure much?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why and degrees of that. But
insecurity and jealousy are very, very frightening. I was in a relationship with a Polish man, Pavel, and I did not know that he was a heroin addict. I had no idea. I always thought if you're a heroin addict, you should have needle tracks and have anything. Then I found out, you can smoke it and snort it. I'm like, what?
Damn.
Who knew? I was very unaware of that. And so we were at a restaurant one time, and the whole jealousy thing, I'd never experienced anything like that, where this person was absolutely convinced that it was at the ladies' room. There's a huge line. The ladies' room is on the opposite end of where we were. The men's room is on the opposite. So they were separated. He was totally convinced that I had not gone to the ladies' room, that I'd met up with the dude that was sitting behind me and was somewhere fucking him. And I'm just like, what is going on? But he was so convinced, and he took the table and he dumped everything that was on our table into my lap and screamed, "You should go fuck him again." And of course, the guy that he was accusing me of being with is the guy turns around and helps me. "Are you okay?" It was like, I was so afraid. I was terrified. And I felt this, I remember feeling this energy laser slice right through my energy field into my heart.
No.
And I was devastated because I adored him. It's like, where are you coming? How are you coming to this conclusion? It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And it was kooky, and it was drug induced. That paranoia, the weird.
And that'll amplify all those negative emotions tenfold.
Yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. I never experienced it again because it was over.
And that's another way to completely make a discord of that electromagnetic connection, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because all that drug use, alcohol abuse, will actually shatter your auric field and just invite low-level entities into your field, and they just start hopping in and out of bodies and having a party. Sometimes 2 or 3 of them will enter into the body and have a party.
Damn, yo.
You know.
And it ain't no slumber party.
No, it is not a slumber party. That is for sure. Ah, Lord.
No, the slumber party are the sleeping masses, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Craziness.
What's your, as a woman, I'm curious as to like how you felt with partners and just, you know, vibes from guys in general, that they think like a woman is like something that own, you know, it's like, that's my woman, that's my girlfriend.
I've run the gamut of that. I've run the gamut of that. So, like my first husband was very, you know, he's Italian. What Italian and
on the macho side, or
Italian and Israeli. So very chauvinistic, very loud and expressive, and very, very sort of machismo, macho kind of thing. And then my second husband was Texan, kind of the same thing, but artsy, you know, very, very artistic, and couldn't figure out whether he was gay, bi, or straight.
Damn.
So it was a little complicated. And then I had the sensitive musician, Pavel, who was a tortured soul. Definitely much more in that the sort of negative feminine of you know, musician, but being very directionless and also entitled. Entitled because he had a certain level of upbringing and status in terms of his family origin, and that was weird. It's like,
yeah,
well, wait a minute, I'm sorry. And then my last relationship was with narcissist, sociopath, psychopath.
Damn.
Very like a manipulator and using his child as, you know, a way to push my button. So that was one of the things that I learned. It's like, oh, one of my triggers is children.
Yeah.
And there's so many children who have reckless fathers, reckless mothers. And I was always the one, I'll step up, I'll do it. And that was a reflection of me having such a neglectful, horrifying, violent, abusive childhood that I am not going to allow, if I have it in my power to not allow a child to have those experiences, I'm down automatically without thought, you know. But it's funny because I've had a few opportunities lately dangled in front of me, and I'm like going, no, thank you. No, been there, done that. No, I'm done, you know. So I need to work with my inner little girl, and she gets to have some fun, you know, reclaiming her. But yeah, so I've run the gamut with men, and I have had also very relatively short relationships with men who have been relatively conscious, and we parted ways very very sweetly, very lovingly. Cool. And I'm still friends with them. And and I keep track of them. So we have a closeness there. But you know, what's the common thread of those men is they do the great work.
Boom.
You know, they've had their hearts broken. They did the painstaking work to extricate themselves from this unconscious masculine feminine dynamic that is of typified unconscious dramatic relationships, you know. So so I've run the gamut, and the person that I'm with now is he's very, you know, it's funny because our approach, our life experience are very different. But we've come to the same conclusion. We have the same worldview, universal view. We have the same values. We have the same morality. And it's we're very, very in tune and aligned.
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Nobody would ever suspect that, you know. And I come from the sort of free spirit, entrepreneurial, make my own way. I mean, by the time I was like 21, I'd been fired from 25 jobs. It was very apparent. Yeah. I am virtually unemployable. No one wants to fire me because I am unruly. I can't take direction. And his route, you know, he's a retired Air Force colonel. I mean, hello, it's weird. I mean, what? So when I tell people that, they're like, you know, they're wondering about that. And yet we have the same soul, basically. We have the same heart.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are on level.
Yeah, so it's like you come to the same conclusions, you know, doing all these different divergent pathways and having these different experiences and lessons. So it's a very interesting trajectory for sure. Surprising. It surprised me. You know. It's like, what? I'm not living in Italy. I'm not supposed to you know.
Damn.
Funny that way.
Where in Italy, real quick?
Near Florence.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, I know.
Magnifique.
I know. And I have friends in Tuscany, and which was mostly where I was staying with a couple of, you know, really crazy women.
Uh-oh.
There was a lot of craziness going on over there.
Wow, yeah. And what have you noticed with women that have been exposed big time, like me being in the south of France, seeing this with that machismo vibe and this and that, and you over in Italy? What I noticed, it's really toughened up the skin of a lot of women, and it kind of robbed them of their sensuality.
Yes. I noticed, you know what I noticed? And that's interesting that you say that, because with the women who sponsored me, and I got to stay at their villa, there's a certain what's the word? It's an edgy hardness, I guess. And this very forward kind of sexuality that I find alarming.
Yeah.
Like one time, one of the women, Fabiola, just shows up at my door, like completely naked.
Damn.
And I don't have a problem with nudity, but you know, she's a little drunk, and it's just odd. And she comes in and she's, you know, she'll like get up on my couch and her legs are up in the air, and I'm just like, are you lost? Like,
or is it an imitation?
I don't know, but the edginess, though, there's a certain sharp tone that I notice in their manner of speaking. I don't know if you caught that, but I
totally no. Like, I was never able to articulate it the way you just did, and yeah, thank you, man.
Right?
It was a brain fart from my head.
Like for me, I was like, "Are you gonna hurt me? Like, what's gonna happen?"
Yeah. No, straight up.
Like I didn't know what she was gonna do. It was just kind of weird. So,
damn. Yeah, in the south of France, like some of these women, they're pretty hardcore, you know, they can box type of thing, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I can box. Either, I can box too. You know, but I also know that, you know, even though if I land 4 or 5 moves to a man, you know, say much bigger than me, 6 feet, 6'2", I have to be precise, because if I'm not precise, I don't take him down. I need to fucking run away because he will kill me.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Hollywood is not teaching to women these days, right?
No, they're not teaching them. I mean, I think I made a post. I go, what is this fuckery, this sorcery of these Hollywood hot biatches who are in full makeup, tight clothes, 5-inch spiked heels. They're doing jump around spin kicks, landing it fully, taking full on 3 punches to the face, and their faces aren't blown up. What the fuck? How does that happen? And then they land square, perfect, and the hair is just it's ridiculous. One of the things that I had to do when I was training in martial arts, I had to learn how to take a punch.
Bam,
a full-on punch, and feel my face blow up.
Wow, yeah.
That's what happens when you go full contact. And if you're in a fight, guaranteed, you're going to be bloody and pulpy, and you're not going to have a pretty face. It's not going to happen. Okay? And your knuckles, I mean, you're full on, and no bruises, nothing. The nails are perfect. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's a distortion. It's bullshit.
Yes, to give the fake false empowerment for the neo-feminists and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, that's cool.
Mark Passio's presentation about the unholy feminine.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I felt like it revealed a lot of how I felt, growing up, and wasn't able to like notice and articulate it in the proper way.
Right.
Properly through all that.
Right.
I was stuck on heartbroken, hopeless romantic shit,
There's a lot to be said for that. I'm one of those diehards right there.
But what I noticed, one of my problems is, just being in that frequency wasn't allowing me to, I guess, be my true self and attract what I really wanted.
Yes. Yes.
And the other thing, I had it. I just lost it. Did I? Now you go. Sorry. Yeah, I can't think of it right now. So.
It'll come back. It'll come back. Well, part of the problem with being in heartbreak is that when we can't compost it and are unable to buoy ourselves and rise to the occasion, not necessarily rise above it, because it's not above or below you. It just is a state of being. We get stuck in what I call the energy of wallowing and pining. And women get stuck in that, especially, and so there's that sort of ongoing grief that's deep, and yet it's very hollow because it takes so much energy. It hollows you out, where your focus is just on that grief, and it's devastating. And I have been there.
Me too.
I've been there. I've had my life shipwrecked and gutted by a man, so I know what that's like, and it's not fun, and it's not something that you can bypass, because all the steps of grieving. I mean, that one size does not fit all. I don't really believe in it. So I found those steps to be a little bit of a mind control trap, because I didn't relate to it. So I'm thinking, what's up with that? Yeah. So it's hard, dealing with betrayal, dealing with liars and users, and just the sort of narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, and that level of betrayal and so much of it is so it's orchestrated. I mean, they are consciously doing it. They know exactly what they're doing. And that level of deception is like, so, I mean, I was shattered. and I had concluded, I go, well, if that means I'm never going to be with another man as long as I live, you know what? I'm okay with it. It's like, I'm not going to die. I have work that's meaningful. And so I really had to let it go, but I think the letting go allowed me to not focus so much on how the fuck did I not know this? How the fuck did I let this happen? That self-blame. That's part of the blame game. Is the blaming of the self, and then getting into the self-punishment and the self-murder and the soul murder of like really beating on yourself, bullying yourself about how stupid you were, how careless you were, rather than in reality transurfing, there's a whole thing that's called when you're up leveling your reality and you're moving through trauma to seek the advantage and the benefits of everything that comes your way, including the devastations and the betrayals. And that has been gold. It's been gold.
Wow. Yeah.
And I get these little kernels of insight, on a regular basis where, good.
Yeah, and this totally makes sense as to what I wanted to say today as well, is, going back to the whole, and I don't even want to call it a war to sexes. Let's just call it negative feedback loops and bitching between the sexes. Who's actually trying to wage war and throw, you know what I mean? Anyways.
Yes.
How often have you heard like, oh, well, you're just a waste of my time, or, like, you know what, it's why even bother doing this? It's wasting our time, instead of having the approach more like, you know what, I think we should be using our time more wisely if this is going to work out, let's not beat the dead horse or whatever. Just, it's degrading the other person, like, you're a waste of my time. And you're actually degrading yourself when you say that as well, because you're not going through and doing the inner work and introspection.
Exactly, and you're not valuing the person and the experience. You chose each other. Hello. I mean, part of the responsibility and moving forward is taking responsibility. Oh, I chose this person. Hello. I mean, that kind of radical honesty, I think, is it's vacant in just so many people's lives.
Vacancies. Yep.
Just like, I just kind of checked out.
But they don't want to take responsibility for their actions, right?
What was that?
They don't really want to take responsibilities for all their actions and choices they have done.
No, he made me do it. She made me do it. What? She triggered me.
Where's the two-way street, right?
Yeah.
There can be, more, one person out of the two can be more culpable of doing certain things, of course. We're not negating that at all.
Yeah.
Right. But how are things getting just snowballing into a negative feedback loop with so much stuff, and who's holding inventory on what that person did or what they didn't do, and you didn't help me, or you said that about me, and hey, folks got laundry lists, and the file cabinet. Clear that the fuck out, and sometimes, you know what I mean, and just blast on them.
I get it. The file cabinets.
Yeah.
Of the receipts and evidence of why you're a dirtbag. It's like, move on then. Like, what are you doing? That's just crazy to me. It is so crazy. And I understand that if you have children, that's a whole other set of moving parts that need to be navigated and managed. I get it. But at the same time, you don't want to teach your children to take abuse. You don't want to teach your children that you hate men or hate women.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing, I don't think. There are ramifications to that. There are consequences to the things that you do and the things that you don't do, especially.
Yeah. Oh my God, totally. I loved what you just spoke about. Reminds me of some good old things that I was reading today, but where is that quote? It's such a beautiful quote, and it talks about how mothers talking to their daughters on, yeah, raising them not to be some freaking man hater and this and that, because they're gonna be
I was
perpetuating the
raised
same.
by a man hater.
Say again?
I was raised by a man hater.
Oh, damn.
And she was frightening. Like, and it was painful for me to hear her talk to men.
Yeah, I know.
It was extremely painful. And just her disdain and her animosity toward men in general was it was creepy.
Wow.
So I am a lover of men and women, and I am a great advocate for the masculine essence, the men who show up. In my experience, the majority of the men that I've witnessed, they are showing up. They are doing the best they fucking can under hellacious, impossible circumstances in the presence of women who are hell bent on dragging their dicks in the dirt and making them wrong and blaming them for everything wrong in the world, in the matrix.
Are they religious, by the way? Because a lot of religion is patriarchal. Just
some of them are religious, and a lot of them are like hippy dippy feminists, fake feminists. That whole "I'm gonna take your head." That kind. It's like,
eat it for breakfast or dinner.
That picture that Mark Passio has of the all feminism is not equal.
Oh yeah.
You've got that man and woman standing and it's equal, and then you got the woman who just took his head. It's like,
yeah, that
God.
one.
Or that one where it's a woman with a whip and she's got her foot on a man's back. She's about to whip him down. I'm thinking, I just find that offensive. It's like, God. And I know so many women that are like that.
Yeah. Or they kind of drool over those images. Well, here's something for them. Let it not be forgotten that the mother's influence on a newborn child determines not only his image of women, but also but of himself as well. The person he becomes going into the world isn't of his own construction. He emerges from her body. She is his first environment. He stops from her world into the new world. The Matrix, right? Has he not been drastically shaped by her consciousness and behavior? Why, then, do women not acknowledge their role in shaping the male psyche, which also means spirit in Greek? Does their evasion not speak volumes? Or, whatever kind of man-hating stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good. I read that.
That is pretty awesome. Wow. Well, how you doing? How are you doing energy-wise?
Pretty good.
We've been at it for 2 hours and 13 minutes? 2 hours? 2 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
Damn. It just flew.
Do you want to cut this off around 2 hours then, or?
Yeah, so let's go like maybe for another, I don't know, 5, 10.
Yeah,
What do you
totally.
think? Yeah, because I can yak all night. Oh man.
Here's something I wrote for one of my musical mixes. I've made 3 of them. I kind of put them out for International Women's Day, and when I post it, I kind of write things like, you know, like women are supposed to be celebrated every single day, not just some token fucking bullshit day, right? But yes, and it's called Femc Divinity. I think I shared one with you, and it's all female artists.
Yes, you did.
Conscious hip hop, and yeah. So there's been some insights on a metaphysical level regarding women and men, and I can speak from experience with this. Women have the power to activate DNA, soul code genetics, chakras, and things of that nature within men, especially lighting up that good old heart chakra. Let's just take it above the belt and the root chakra, guys, you know, like actually I got a jingle after being divorced and trying to be and not like whore myself out. If my heart is not in it, my dick is not with it, type of thing. Connections.
Right on.
Are you into tarot, by the way?
I am.
Sweet. So what about the High Priestess, wise in the world, and the Empress of Emotion and understanding, the caring inspiration between lovers, the Queen of Cups washing the impurities with temperance, the courage to shine like the sun or the star in their alignment to truth and natural law.
Beautiful.
My idea of the archetypal divine feminine, creative, compassionate, caring, courageous, balanced, intuitive, heart-based intelligence, in touch with their bodies deeply, from their blood flow to their hormones, uterus, and especially with their hearts, mind, and guts. Obviously, the whole trinity of consciousness.
Wow.
The universal laws of morality are readily known within them, and they do not cause harm upon others and don't tolerate harm upon ourselves either, which is having the balance of that divine masculine energy within themselves. Yeah, obviously, when we hear about the divine masculine and feminine, we talked about that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about from that little note there. But
wow.
Yeah, and these are the types of things I write about on every single mix that
I love it.
You know, I love to write and kind of.
We're speaking the same language.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very sweet.
Thank you.
And I love that you're just doing it. You're just doing it. This is for me, this is the kind of information that I think a lot of men, all ages across the board, and women across the board need to hear this language, especially coming from a man.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah. I mean, it's true because, you know, I think the various messengers that come forth at certain times, you know, this is it. Your archetype of the embodied masculine, who's also embodied in his feminine, is so rare. There's a lot of pretenders who will be self-proclaimed in that manner and have, you know, they're pickup artists is what they are.
Yeah.
And they're manipulative con artists. I've seen it in the Tantra communities. I've seen it in the, you know, conscious communities. You know, I spent a lot of time at Burning Man and all the festivals, and man, I'm telling you, the con artists, it's the wannabe guru who's nothing but a pretender pimp, you know, and you know, I'm gonna be crude. He's looking for pussy, quick pussy, and he's gonna monetize the fuck out of it while he's at it. And people fall for it.
What a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's totally.
The definition of a motherfucker is fucking with the feminine spirit.
Exactly. And it's probably very disrespectful toward his mother.
Wow.
And maybe she was disrespectful toward him. Who knows? Who knows what the story is? But I've seen it so much. It just blows my mind.
Especially when they're in these, you know, higher levels of awareness communities.
Yes. Yes.
Pathetic.
And I know for myself, I remember doing a talk about the masculine feminine, about the integration, the sacred marriage, the heteros gamos. And this guy in the audience, he was, I don't know what his deal was, but he just screams out and now says, I know what you need, lady. And I got it. And I remember just going, do we have a spotlight? Can we find him? Let's find him. What do I need exactly? Boom. Find him in the audience. I mean, everybody was pointing to him because he was such a jerk heckler.
Wow.
And it was a very weird experience because I called him up to the podium. It's like, come, really, you're gonna say that? I'm gonna call you out. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. And I'm thinking, this guy's gonna hit me. He's gonna hit me, or he's gonna pee or do something weird. And we did this process. I just started asking him questions. Do you have a mom? Do you have a sister? Do you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend? Did you come here alone? Like, what is your freaking deal? And the dude burst into tears.
Wow.
I mean, he had a come to Mary, Mother of God moment. I mean, it was kind of fantastic, actually. And I was actually doing a novena in my head because he had upset me so much, and I'm trying to be really kind of in my equanimity and I'm not going to go off, but I'm just going to ask questions. And he didn't know what to expect, but he kind of came up a little kind of macho, like he's going to get in my face.
Trying to intimidate you. And
I just started asking him questions, which is what I usually do. When I noticed he was in a lot of pain and he was just going to like fight me, So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But wow.
But it's one of those things where you just break the pattern and come at him. Like I could have been a total asshole where I could have just been screaming at him or whatever, blah, blah. And so what I did is I just disarmed him in a way where I came at him kind of like a mommy. I came at him like a mommy, like a big sister.
Yeah, and you worked your magic on him too.
Asking some, not gentle questions, but questions where what we're not going to get into some screaming match here. You're not going to tell me my dick is bigger than yours, mister. I didn't go there. But it was enough to, just sort of like break that spell of the masculine feminine divide. Let's just come together as two people that have obviously experienced pain. And let's see if we can find common ground here, or at least have some peace.
Wow, yeah.
Because what I wanted to do is like, why would you think I would need that? Really? Because I'm talking about the marriage of the masculine and feminine, and I've had that same response from women where they're offended.
Oh, yeah.
They're offended with what I'm saying because they don't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's weird too.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, just going back real quick, 'cause I'd love that story and how you made him have like an ego death, basically.
Yeah.
But just it sounded like you were asking the questions rather calm and composed, right?
I was very, very calm. I mean, after it was brought up, we did spotlight him. It's like you're called out. Never make an announcement like that to a woman up on stage doing a teaching or teaching, especially when there's a potential that you're going to get called up.
Yeah. But that's like that high priestess energy magic, if you will, and just, you know, understanding that they fucked up. You're upset about it, but you're not showing that, and you're actually curious as to, you know, what's going on in his head, in
Yeah.
his emotions, and
Yeah.
just like those simple questions are great. But how many women do you see out there, you know, especially like, it's an easy target, but you know, like the protesters and stuff, and you have these women screaming like, "Ah, oh, you're a Nazi, you're a bigot, and all this stuff, you're a sexist," and this and that. I'm just curious as to like what that actually accomplishes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're yelling out with all that yang energy. They're not
Yeah.
bringing in the subtle yin energy.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not even
And they don't
interested in-
realize that is toxic masculinity right there.
Yes.
It's projective and it's unconscious projection. You don't even make sense. Do you honestly know what you're all pissed off about? Not really.
What?
Not really. And I've interviewed women. I've been interviewed by women, you know, where they all of a sudden realize that, oh, she's not the feminist we thought.
Ah!
And I've been kicked off of calls where this interview is over, you're gone. But they just tell me to fuck off because I'm not cooperating with their little narrative. And I'm not going to get on the bandwagon and bash men. I'm not going to do it.
I appreciate.
I'm not on your hate train. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Oh man.
The only train I'm down with are those classy, comfortable European rides. I mean, in Japan they got those, but geez, have you ever seen a train in Japan that doesn't have 1 million people smudged up against the walls?
No,
Anyway.
never. I have not, and that is a frightening thing because you're literally like this. It's kind of creepy. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I get claustrophobic and, you know, I mean, I'm all touchy and feely, but it's got to be on my terms, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well said. So, the neo-feminists in it, I don't, yeah, a lot of them are just misdirected, lost, and projecting a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they've not worked through their daddy issues.
Yeah, that too.
Or their mommy issues, for that matter.
Of course, yeah.
They've not integrated the inner masculine and feminine.
Yeah. I almost think that like these MGTOW men are almost like the diametric opposite of some of these neo-feminists in a sense.
That's probably true.
I can't think of any other group or male movement that, you know, is so like anti-woman almost, you know.
Well, then there are the pickup artists, and they're all about working women.
Yeah,
and that sort of creating the narcissist, sociopath, psychopaths, you know, who can exploit at will and make it all charming, and like they're doing you a favor. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some of these podcasts; they're frightening. Like some of their tactics, I'm just like, is this legal? Like,
damn.
You're teaching folks how to do this. You know, it's a weird form, you know, in many ways. I'm like going, this is kind of like weird NLP tactics.
Oh God.
Strange.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very disturbing. And, you know, and I try to keep an open mind, you know, because I want to listen to an entire presentation, but man, I had to like pause stuff. I was just like, step outside, get some air, take a break.
Smoke spliff.
Because this is disturbing. This is willful manipulation.
Yeah. So
and they're very plain about it.
Wow.
How to get a woman to, you know, blah, 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 you know, just like, okay. I'm sorry, does that work for you? Really?
Jeez, wow. I haven't had sex in 2.5 years. Ain't interested in manipulating a damn soul to get some.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, it was easy to go for without it for years. It was very, very easy.
Yeah.
You know, and my
That's
friends were disturbed. My friends were disturbed. You should go out and fuck your brains out. You know, it's like, no, no.
Jeez, yeah.
It's like, what for?
Yeah, like we spoke about, and just being conscious of what kind of energy and consciousness we're going to be enveloping,
Yeah.
or being
You
around.
know, yeah, purging that all out. All right, what do you think? Should we call it?
Yeah, I do want to finish it on
Yeah,
this.
please.
If you look at my Pinterest channel, one might think I'm obsessed with this, but whatever. It's not just for me; it's for other people. It's my divine femininity board. And there's actually 1,000 photos.
Oh, I saw parts of it.
Cool. I just wanted to read real quick the top because just to recenter, things, and as a male, my tribute to the divine feminine. It is the goddess energy, the womb of creation, the sacred maternity, the pure beauty, the non-aggression principle, the priestess of emotion, also water, the enchanting elegance, the priestess of sensuality, the queen of balance, the Gaia Sophia vibration, the heart-based intelligence, the empathic intuition, the frequency of unconditional love. Hyros Gamos, baby, yes.
Beautiful.
Then you can embody these aspects and attributes as well. Like you said in so many of your works before, masculine, feminine, these are all archetypes of energy and consciousness, and we just work with them. We work with what we have. We find balance and harmony and try to help others.
Absolutely. I love it. It is what animates our physical bodies, the masculine and feminine. It's the windings and the flow of moving formless into form. And it just continues. It continues on. There's no end. Death, rebirth.
Exactamundo.
And so
we're gonna break out of this phantom soul matrix and not follow that white light at the end of the false light tunnel.
False light tunnel. I love that. Yeah. It is exactly that, the false light tunnel. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, sweetheart, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your wisdom, your presence, your beauty, you're just, you're just, I'm madly in love with you. You're just the same. I love it. It's like, had I had a son.
Wow, yeah.
Perfetto. It's like, wow.
It means a lot to me, Maria. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Your parents did well.
They did.
They did well.
They're still together, 40 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been a great example for them. Growing up,
Yeah.
That loyalty and all that stuff. So yeah.
Cool. Any parting words before I end the recording?
You've humbled this lion quite a bit today. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All the kind words and compliments. I hold you in such high respects as well.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate our connection and friendship, and look forward to hearing from you soon, and hearing what else you're coming out with and what you already have on your channel. There's a lot.
Yeah, we have a fun thing tomorrow. I'm going to be going off on Lady Bits.
Oh yeah. Oh cool.
It's one of my quickie rants. So it'll be kind of fun because I've been posting some really serious stuff lately. So I figured, I'd share a little weird conversation with a woman friend, a self-proclaimed man-hater who had a few choice words for me. But anyways, I set her straight, especially on a word origin for a particular word of which I will not get into. So anyways, all right, kids. Thank you so much. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll have all of Derek's information in the show notes below, and check out his channel. We'll have all his information. And big love. Here's to love, truth, and beauty. Mwah! Ciao, Bellas.
Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view? Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view?